guys, and welcome to Hodgson Premier League. We can see Man City winning the title this weekend, and we have many interesting games. So let's analyze everything with Tom Rennie. Hi, Tom.
Hello. Looking forward to giving you predictions this week for games that actually happen. That's what we're aiming for. All the games to take place. That's all we want.
Not like Man United Liverpool, for instance. We have actually the Champions League final this weekend. We have Man City Chelsea. So let's analyze it later with Tom, of course, and with everyone who wants to comment in the live video, ask any question to Tom or leave a comment below. You have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And of course, if you enjoy the video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. So let's start with the game. We have tomorrow on Friday, Leicester City, Newcastle. Leicester City, third, 5 points away from the fifth, despite the draw against Southampton. But be careful, Tom, they must win this game because their calendar is very tricky. They have Man U, Chelsea, and Spurs are the next rivals. And we know how Newcastle are struggling the whole season. They lost to Arsenal last weekend. So I guess, Leicester City should win this game.
Well, I said to you last week, I didn't expect there to be much of a Leicester drop-off because they're in the FA Cup final. But I think against Southampton, we saw a Leicester drop-off because they're in the FA Cup final. There was a lack of spark about Leicester, which there has been at times this season. At points of their Europa League run, some of their home league games, they haven't quite been there. But I thought they would go to Southampton where they won 9-0 the previous year. And I thought they would get a big win, cement themselves in the Champions League, all of that. And it just never happened. There was not a real rhythm about the way they played against Southampton. And Southampton are just doggedly getting to the end. And to be fair, they played very well on the day, the Southampton side. So I think it was a poor performance against the side that played above what I expected last week. Newcastle have done that themselves in recent weeks. The West Ham victory, one such performance where they played a lot better than I'd anticipated. They went back to type against Arsenal last week. They absolutely missed Joe Willock, who's been a star performer for them in the last 20 minutes of games. Look, I expect Newcastle here to doggedly defend. I expect them to be tough to watch, and I expect them to try with Almiron, with Wilson, and with Saint-Maximin to hit Leicester on the break. But I think Leicester will take this seriously. I think Leicester with a nice long break between games for the first time in a while. Nice 5 days since they last played on Monday Night Football. I think they're going to be in the driving seat here. I would take Leicester to win a narrow game, maybe 1-0 to Leicester. I think don't see Newcastle scoring in this game.
The odds are very low for Leicester City. We are seeing them 1.46. If we want higher odds, as you said, 1-0 or a win 2-0, for instance, 1-0, 2-0 is 2.38. Leicester City, they've been at home in a patchy form, but their last two games at home were victories actually against West Brom and Crystal Palace. So let's see if they can also beat on Friday Newcastle. The following week, they have this FA Cup final. Then for Saturday, we have the first game. Leeds Spurs. The Leeds, they were in a very good form. They were able to draw with Man United or Liverpool, but they lost against Brighton the previous week. That's why the odds for a Leeds victory are very high, 3.5, whereas the Spurs got an easy victory 4-0 that you predicted as well, with Bale scoring a hat-trick. They still can get into the European spots, 2 points away from West Ham, 5 points away from Champions League. I guess the Champions League is very far away yet. But do you trust them to beat Leeds? It won't be easy.
Trust is an interesting word to use. I wouldn't trust them to win, but I really fancy this game. I'll tell you that. I think this is going to be a spectacular game of football because it was a blip last weekend for Leeds against Brighton. I think Brighton just needed it more. And Leeds, maybe it was the first time we've seen Leeds this season in that we've done our job mode. I don't expect it to last very long with the manager they have and the type of club that they are. With Tottenham, they're having that Mourinho's gone bounce that everyone has. You remember Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first run in charge, and it's happened basically everywhere he's left. There's a huge sigh of relief that this dragon has gone. And this time in a year, we'll be talking about the same thing at Roma because he will be sacked and everyone will be happy for a few weeks before it goes pear-shaped again. So I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Gareth Bale has started to look like Gareth Bale, not vintage Gareth Bale, but certainly what I expected, which is a kind of older version of what we used to have, right? That's what I expected. He's still incredibly talented, technically brilliant, and I think he'll play again, actually play football in the Premier League to actually prove he's still got it. A bizarre idea. I think Son, Kane, Bale are going to have a field day against this Leeds defence, but I think Leeds United with Bamford, Rafinha, Rodrigo, even Stuart Dallas, who I think is brilliant, I think they'll have a field day against this pretty awful Tottenham defence. So I'd be looking high-scoring game here. 2-2, 3-3, 3-2 either way. One of these teams to win over 5 goals would be a good bet, I think.
Well, over 3.5 goals, for instance, 2.7. Let's see if Bale finds the net. Bale is very close now to have the time to play a lot of golf and retire from football, but still he has to come back to Madrid in the summer. Let's see what happens. Then the next game on Saturday, Sheffield United, Crystal Palace. Probably the time is like nap time, siesta time for me. So probably this is one to skip. Sheffield, we just said, crushed by Spurs. Crystal Palace lost to Man City, making now 3 straight defeats. But it's true that they play with Leicester City, Chelsea, and Man City. Difficult to trust any of these teams. Trust is a difficult word again, but here, what can we do with Sheffield and Crystal Palace?
Yeah, last week there was a game in the calendar which was West Brom Wolves. And I said to you, 0-0, there's no point talking about it. I don't have much analysis of it. They don't care, so I won't either. It finished 1-1 in the end, so it was better than I'd hoped for, but it was still a pretty drab draw. This is in the same boat as that. It will be a drab game. I expect a drab draw. There are 2 scorelines I can see, and that's 0-0 and 1-1. I can't see a winner. And I think a 0-0 draw would suit everybody, apart from those that have to sit through it, which is me, but at least I'm getting paid for it.
Okay, well, happy for that. The draw, 3.32, if someone wants to bet in this very exciting game. Is very exciting. The next one, that it is Man City, Chelsea, final of the Champions League. We learned it yesterday. Chelsea beating and very comfortably Real Madrid. They were way better in the 2 games than Los Blancos. Also, Man City comfortably 2-0 for both English sides. This is an interesting game, of course, for many reasons. Probably not the table for Man City, especially. Well, they can be champions. Chelsea still have to qualify for the Champions League. They have West Ham behind them, but also we saw in the FA Cup, Tom, and you predicted well how Chelsea was going to beat Man City. So probably if Chelsea get a point or a good result here, maybe the citizens, when Istanbul time arrives, they will think, we haven't been able to beat Tuchel men in 2 games, and it's not going to be easy. Man City, of course, favorite 2.0.
Yeah, not going to be easy. Is absolutely right. I do trust in these 2 teams to put on a great performance, a great show in this game. Look, they're the 2 best squads in English football. There's no question for me about that. I've said to you for a long, long time that Chelsea should have challenged for the Premier League title this season. I think it shows that Frank Lampard should have been sacked last summer, considering how little he was getting from this squad, evidently, from how they've been since Tuchel came in. There'll be a lot of rotation here, understandably. I think Chelsea need it more because City will be champions. What is it to them if it takes another week or they've got to wait for Man United to lose for them to be champions? It doesn't make a great deal. I'd expect them to make more changes than Chelsea. 6, 7, 8 changes maybe from the side that played in midweek. I expect Aguero to come back in. I expect Jesus to come back in. Raheem Sterling to come back in and start wrapping those Champions League players in cotton wool. Understandably so. If you're Pep Guardiola, he can give a lot of them 3 weeks off basically now and get ready for that one game, which is something that Chelsea currently can't do because the Champions League is not assured as yet. Plus, as you mentioned, the FA Cup final as well. So I'd give City the slight edge. Also, I think they are, well, evidently, they are a better side than Chelsea across this season. Chelsea still have an error in them. I think defensively, Chelsea are better when Thiago plays in a 3. Thiago played in midweek. He's not going to play in this game. That weakens Chelsea. So, look, I don't see it being a wildly entertaining match in terms of goals because I think Chelsea will defend as they did in the first half, especially against Real Madrid in midweek. I think City will dominate the ball. as is their way, and I expect them to comfortably win it. I expect Chelsea to not score, and I expect City to score. I'd be looking at 1-0, 2-0, Man City, City champions, no more than that.
I was really impressed actually by Chelsea's performance yesterday. They were so good as a collective. Great coach Tuchel. What had happened, as you said, no? If Tuchel was actually managing PSG, so it was impossible for him to arrive to Chelsea. But we will see next season probably what Tuchel can do in one full season with Chelsea. The odds for your tip. Home victory 2-0, Man City to win 2-0 is 3.13. So it's good money, actually, if Guardiola's men can beat Chelsea and not concede a goal. Then on Saturday, the last game we have in the evening is Liverpool-Southampton. We know that Liverpool couldn't play last weekend with Man United. Before, they were coming from 2 straight draws against bottom class teams, Newcastle and Leeds, similar to Southampton probably, and Southampton drew with Leicester City. At one point, Liverpool need to win to qualify for Europe.
Yeah. At some point, they need to win. The story of the season, really, for Liverpool. We've expected them to keep winning and start winning at various points this season, and it hasn't happened. Look, last week was really disastrous for Man United and Liverpool, and it's disastrous for their schedule as well when this extra game has now got to get crammed in that they're going to play and all of that. I don't think Liverpool can overtake Chelsea. I just don't see that gap being made up. They would need to beat Man United. They would need to win pretty much every game that's left to stand a chance of qualifying, and in that time, Chelsea would need to lose 2. So I think that's rather unlikely from this point, though Chelsea, I think, will lose 1 this weekend, so maybe not. But Liverpool's form is what makes me doubt it. Look, they're going to beat Southampton, okay? I think they'll get a win against Southampton. This season has had a lot of these kind of games where we've come here and gone, oh, they're going to win. Of course they're going to win. They've got Salah and Mane, Firmino, blah, blah, blah. They're going to win. And the performance has been desperate. There's multiple examples of it. But at the moment, apart from the big injuries, there's no significant injuries. The front 3 are there. Jota is fit. Most of the midfield is fit. Phillips and Kabak are fit. Everyone apart from, Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez is fit right now for Liverpool. There is nothing else to play for. I expect them to finish 5th this season, winning maybe 3 of the 5 they have left. And West Ham and Tottenham having a slightly worse record than them in the games that are left. And I think they'll beat Southampton. The Saints, they've done incredibly well to not be dragged into a relegation battle, considering how bad their form has been this season. I'm not expecting Danny Ings to return. Why would they push him back? I expect them to go and doggedly defend, try and hit them on the break with Shea Adams, and fail to do so. Liverpool to win without conceding. 1-0, 2-0, maybe 3-0.
Okay, we have better odds actually for that victory to 0 for Liverpool, 2.3, because the Asian handicap pays very little, because as we said, and as we can see, Liverpool are really favorites, 1.33. So Asian handicap minus 1.5, for instance, odds are only 1.9. So better to go to a victory 2-0 for the Reds. Then on Sunday, this is another game very difficult to watch, Tom. Like almost every game of Wolves.
Yes.
Wolves, Brighton. Wolves, you mentioned before how they drew with West Brom after the defeat at home. Their last home game was a 0-4 defeat with Burnley. So be careful with trusting Wolves, although the odds are quite good. Actually, Brighton, they are favorites to beat Wolves after the victory against Leeds. I'm not quite sure actually about these odds. Do you think Brighton is favorite traveling to Wolves? I think these two teams right now probably are very balanced.
I'm very surprised to hear that, actually. But I can only assume the bookies have watched Wolverhampton Wanderers and watched their performance against Burnley a couple of weeks ago, which was nothing short of pitiful. I think a few weeks ago, we're talking about clubs that might need a new manager. Tottenham do need a new manager. Arsenal might need a new manager. There's good clubs with good budgets who might need a coach. And I think Nuno has been a manager who's been on a lot of people's lips for a long, long time. Is he going to make a move to a club with a bigger budget? Are Wolves going to give him a budget to be able to battle with those teams in the top 6, top 8? And kind of none of that has happened at the moment. And this run of form they've been on, the way they've played this year, the kind of giving up the season after Raul Jimenez injury, it's been pitiful. I think he's reputation in this country, certainly, has been damaged to such a degree. I don't know how he gets out of that tailspin now. I don't see him getting a top job in England now. If you'd have asked me a year ago, I would have said he probably would do, or he could have taken Wolves there. It's a big summer for them, and they've obviously got some cash flow issues that are stopping them reinvesting. They got a draw against West Bromwich Albion last week in a game that, I didn't watch in full because why would you? But the goal they scored from Fabio Silva was incredibly fortunate. It's good to see him scoring, but what an awful signing he has been for Wolves. They wanted him to be the backup to Raul Jimenez and learn. They've needed him to play almost every single week, and he's obviously not ready. He's like 9 years old. Of course he's not ready. It made no sense. And Willian Jose has been a massive failure as well. Look, in short, this is not going to be a great game of football. I think that Brighton might just edge it because of how good they played last week, but Brighton are great one week and are trash the next. That's been the story of Brighton all season. Maybe because they try and play football above their station. I don't know. Offensively, maybe because Neil Maupay is for whatever reason not cutting it in the Premier League when I thought he would. I'd be looking draw here. I'd be looking low scoring draw here. You 0-0s, you 1-1s. Don't go any further than that.
Yeah, the odds are very good for any outcome. So as we can see, also the draw 3.4 or the Wolves victory 3.5. That's a lot playing against Brighton. Then next game, Aston Villa, Man United. Man United, well, they have the Europa League game tonight that probably they can rest the whole team as well. So no problem for them visiting Villa Park. Aston Villa, it was a team that was going down. The season is over for them, but they were able to beat Everton at home because Everton are really bad at home.
Yep.
So here we should expect, a Red Devils victory, but maybe after the game in Europe, this is another tricky game, and they don't care really a lot. Man United, I mean.
No, I think you're right. I think the only thing that's going to happen here is Man United win. The question is, how much do Manchester United win by? Right, that's the question here. The scenario is, as it always is with Manchester United, Villa will score first. Man United will rally. Man United will win. I would be looking for United win, both teams score, or Villa score first and United win. 1-2, 1-3.
Next game,
don't come back. That was great. That was the best bit of the show. We were nailing it there without you. That was the best bit. I was going to do my song and dance routine.
I'm back.
Good.
West Ham, Everton, very bad, as we said. Defeat against Aston Villa. West Ham beat Burnley, bouncing back after back-to-back defeats with Chelsea and Newcastle. They still can fight for Europe. So go for West Ham. You were very happy, actually, with the West Ham victory against Burnley.
I thought they were sensational against Burnley. It was only a 2-1 win, but it could have and should have been much, much more. I thought some of the movement up front was electrifying from West Ham, really. It was right up there with some of the stuff that you've seen from some of the best Arsenal teams of the last 15, 20 years. It was great. Antonio being back makes all the difference. I've said this for a long time. With Antonio, it works offensively. Without him, it doesn't work offensively because he brings you so much. He's not the most skillful, but he's very skillful for a big man. He's not the quickest, but he's very quick for a skillful player. He is the strongest, which also helps as well. And he's a great header of the ball, crossing the ball. And he, despite being relatively short for a striker, he's under 6 foot, he will get there first. He's got so many great attributes. And I think if he is fit, it could be the difference maker here. This is the big flag for West Ham. This is the big risk for West Ham. The games coming up next, the final 3, I think they can and will win all 3. This is the only big doubt because Everton, for all their faults and issues and errors at home this year, away from home, they've been very, very good. Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, hopefully James Rodriguez is going to be fit. They can create, they can score. I think this will be a good game, and I think the winner will be the team that scores the first goal. First goal in this one is absolutely crucial. And I'm still going to pick West Ham. I'm not 100% confident this week. I think draw is a likely outcome, but I think 1-0 either way is the most likely, and I'll take West Ham to win. Low-scoring game. by a goal to nil, and look out for Mikel Antonio to get it.
You can get an insurance then, Asian Handicap 0 for West Ham, 1.74. So if West Ham wins, you win your bet. If they draw, you get your money back. This is a good option for you if you trust West Ham, but you are unsure about what can happen. And the next game, the last game on Sunday at the Emirates, Arsenal-West Brom. Arsenal, they have a very important game tonight. They lost 2-1 to Villarreal, so they have to come back in the Europa League, in the Premier League. Finally, they got a good result beating Newcastle, and they are winless actually in the last 3 home games. 1 draw, 2 defeats, but of course, West Brom is an easy rival, winless in the last 3. What can you expect here? Odds very low for Arsenal. We cannot trust Arsenal. We learned that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Never trust Arsenal, and I would avoid betting on Arsenal games under all circumstances because of how inconsistent they continue to be. Look, West Brom here are the worst opponent for Arsenal because they're going to have the low block. They're going to have 9 or 10 behind the ball the entire game. They're going to look to draw 0-0, even in the perilous position they are in, and try and hit on the break and try and win a corner. Do I think West Brom can get something? Yes, I do. I do think they could get a draw out of this game. I don't think West Brom will win under any circumstance, but I do think that if Arsenal can't get that early goal, that opening 20-minute salvo goal, it could be quite tight. I'd be looking at 0-0 draw, 1-1 draw, or tight Arsenal win, low scoring.
We saw, for instance, Arsenal struggling against Fulham lately. They just draw in the injury time. So here the odds for West Brom are quite good, actually. Even the double chance, if you think some Allardyce can get out something from the Emirates, double chance for West Brom, 2.84. We don't trust Arsenal. We know that. We don't like Arteta. You don't like Arteta. So let's see what happens in the Europa League also semi-final tonight. And the last game we have to analyze is on Monday, Fulham-Burnley. No options right now for Fulham to be safe. So sorry, but the run is so bad. Only 1 draw in the last 5 games. Playing like this, getting these results is impossible to stay in the Premier League. And Burnley, they lost with West Ham after their victory against Wolves. 1 victory, 4 defeats in the last 5 games. So for sure they are not in form. Fulham favorite.
Wow, it's something you've not said a great deal this season, I'm sure. Poor old Fulham. I thought they were going to do it. I say this to you every week now. I thought they would, and their form just completely tailed off. I don't know what happened. There was that great line from Sean Dyche a few weeks ago, the Burnley manager, who said there's a great difference between nothing to play for, so go out there and express yourself, to it's on the line now, we've got to win. And when they were dead and buried 10 points to make up, Fulham were fantastic. From the moment they got within touching distance of safety, it's all fallen apart for them again. For Burnley, it was a great win against Wolves a couple of weeks ago, but they win games through force of will, and they had a lot more will than Wolves in that match. I watched them against West Ham on Monday, and I thought they should have been thrashed out of sight by West Ham. Their tactic is the same. Spin the ball in, down the channels, behind the centre-halves, and get Wood to battle for it, try and win a penalty, try and get a shot away, try and knock it onto Vidra or Barnes, Rodriguez, whomever. And when it's effective, there's nothing wrong with it. When it doesn't work, as it didn't for much of the game against West Ham, it really is tough to watch. It really, really is a tough watch with Burnley. They're a tough side to watch. And I don't blame them for that, because look at the budgets. It's incredible that side, under this manager, have been in the Premier League for so long. He's a genius, Sean Dyche, at getting this side enough points to stay up. But it's, if it was a baby, it's the kind of baby only a mother would love. That's what Burnley is. In this particular game, I think it'll be attritional. And to be honest, I actually see Burnley winning. I think Burnley will fight. They'll scrap. They might nick a penalty. Low scoring, Burnley win.
Good odds for the ugly child for Burnley, 3.5 to win in Craven Cottage. Not bad. Then Tom, we have our tips for the 10 games. Do you have an ACCA for us?
I do. I'm getting concerned that I keep going for a lot of favourites here, but that's what the ACCA is, I suppose. You go for the teams you think are going to win, and usually it's the big teams that are going to win. I've got 3 this week because I feel a little bit precarious on this, but I've gone Leicester to beat Newcastle United on Friday Night Football, Man United to win at Aston Villa for some away day flavour, and West Ham over Everton. Those would be the teams that I feel most confident about winning.
5.56. Those odds for your ACCA this week. Then, Tom, thank you. We will see each other next week. We have also the FA Cup final. And thanks everyone for being with us. You can still leave a comment and have the chance to win a £10 free bet. Of course, with Novibet. And do not forget to click on the like if you enjoy our videos. Subscribe always, and click on the bell to get the notifications and listen to us also in our podcast if you want to do so. Then, Tom, see you next week.